Hello everyone, welcome back to Love Online. I'm Dr. Carla Dunbar. Now today I'm going to talk about a topic that I don't think it's much liked, but it's a reality and therefore it needs to be talked about, especially within the context of marriage. Of course, that's where it generally happens, right? And so we're going to be talking about infidelity in marriage today, because infidelity is the act, of course, of being emotionally or sexually unfaithful in a relationship to a spouse, right? It's where you break the commitment of monogamy, the covenantal relationship that God has entrusted to your care as a couple in marriage. And it's where you have also eroded trust as a foundation. And this can involve a range of actions, from physical, sexual affairs, emotional affairs, which comes from probably secret connections with somebody outside of your marriage, naturally, of course. But I want to tell you that there's also financial infidelity that can happen too. And so I want to look at infidelity broadly and what it constitutes, because we generally only look at one thing. But it's so much more, and if we're to go into the biblical aspects of it, of course, can't go into all of this in this short. There is a 80-20 rule in the context of cheating that suggests that a person in a relationship may feel like their partner is meeting only 80% of their needs, right? And that the other 20% is being neglected. Now, cheating, of course, it is said, occurs when you have the external person offers that 20% that is missing within the relationship, while, of course, that person, side chick, whoever they are, is only meeting that 20%, the other 80%, which is so valuable in the relationship that you have in your marital relationship. It's lacking when that person comes in. So what we have resulting now is a losing the original 80% of what is in the relationship for the fleeting, momentary pleasure of 20% of something that seems new, seems like a trade-off, and is really very, really worth it. You know, we ask the question, why do men cheat? That's what you hear very often. But I like to caution us to say, not only men cheat, women cheat too. Why do we need to cheat? Period. Why do we need to cheat? Now, for men, generally, it's not always about love. Because I believe that when men commit, they do commit, right? It's most of the time about physical desire. It's most of the time about physical desire. Them feeling disrespected, their physical desires for sex especially not being met. You know, so we need to talk about that, what it means for that for relationship today. For female, generally it's the affection that is missing from the relationship, and it's so hard for either of us to heal from something that is so destructive in nature. Yeah, and women heal through awareness. So we ask details, and it's not to obsess, gentlemen, when this happens. It's not to obsess over the information. We ask because we need to understand what happened in order to truly be able to heal from their fear. Because like I say, it's so destructive. You may not ask, or you men may not ask, or you'll ask. We just have to be very open and honest with each other when this occurs in relationship. The how, the when, the where, even the how many times. Sometimes women get into that nitty-gritty detail. It's not about punishing ourselves, hearing the information and punishing ourselves. That's what it's about. It's about clarity. It's about closure. What did we miss? What are we lacking? It's about how we process the pain that we are experiencing and rebuild ourselves so that we can be stronger once we decide that we are going to continue in the relationship. Hopefully that's going to happen. I'm going to have to talk about forgiveness in another episode. But we need to heal from the infidelity. You understand? So first thing we have to do is to acknowledge how you feel about the situation, about the infidelity, about the hurt. You understand? And you also have to learn, whichever partner you are, to prioritize your own self-care while you're seeking that help and everything in the relationship, right? And then you don't want to confront without facts. So you want to get the facts first so that, you know, you can come and you can be calm and you can be not be over emotional and you're just letting things fly with the relationship is concerned. You have to be able to approach it in a manner that will help you to get the responses that you need. Not just go off fighting. We can't afford to have that. That is going to create even more problem. So we have to be able to approach it. So I'm going to talk about some steps how we can approach it for both of you, both spouses, right? Now, as I said, the initial self-care is important. But you want to communicate to your partner and communicate clearly. Choose a space, private, a setting that you can discuss your suspicions, if there are suspicions, if you're just phone searching and find out exactly what it is yet, you don't want to confront without having the requisite information. So choose a setting to discuss your suspicions, your insecurities, or the reality, if it is that you have found out about the infidelity. You understand? So that you can have a calm conversation about it, and then you plan ahead of time to ensure that you know what you're saying. A lot of women do that, because we are very good detectives. You understand? Of course. And then you want to be careful to use the correct wording, the correct statements. Avoid the accusation, because of course it's going to be denied. Nobody ever cheats to be found out, and nobody ever wants to talk the truth about it. You understand? Very few times you find disclosure takes place without some form of pressure. It's generally denial and anger, right? So we want to be able to do that. So I did say you have to acknowledge your feelings and allow yourself to feel and to name your emotions, whatever they are, without judgment. Whether it is you're angry, you're hurt, you're confused about whatever, just so that you're able to state the facts of what it is and ask your partner to do the same. You understand whether it's a cheating spouse or not? In my counseling session with my clients, we talk about reenactment conversation and how you can use questions to get the responses that you need. You understand? Don't make decisions in emotional imbalance. Don't do that. Yes? Don't make no immediate decision. Oh, I'm going to leave. I'm going to pack up and leave. No. Don't make decisions like that. Pause before making a decision like that. You understand? Because you're married. You have invested time. You have invested energy. You have invested yourself. You understand? So you want to not make a decision now because you're still in shock. You're still angry. You don't want to do it at that point in time. That's what you want to do. You want to be able to build a support system as well. So that's important. Generally, I believe that when a secret is found out, it can put a damper on things. So that is important. You understand? So you want to do that. And you want to avoid revenge. Because a lot of the time, we do that. We want to seek revenge, and that can lead to more pain. I have seen wives who have done that, and in the act have gotten pregnant. I have seen husbands who have done that, and in the actual way, so much good that you could have had, right? So, yeah, you have to decide on after the initial stage of what is happening. I would say, if it is that you can't handle it, seek the professional help, and then decide on the healing, right? Both of you, both individuals, yeah? You deal with it in counseling because you have to address the underlying issues. There are generally issues that are associated with it. And while infidelity is never justified, working to understand and address the underlying problems in the relationship is crucial for healing for both of you, because you know that both partners are hurting. And then you need to rebuild trust. If you decide to stay together, which I hope you do, rebuilding trust is a process, and that requires consistent effort and consistent, transparent behavior, accountability from the person who has cheated. You understand? Yeah, it has to happen. And if the affair partner is involved, then you have to cut all ties. Amputation. Cut it clean. You have to cut ties. You understand? You can't continue to be in this environment and expect that your partner is going to heal after you have not created the avenue for healing. You understand? And this includes blocking numbers. Yes, and delete. Block and delete. Yeah? Unfriending who you are following. You understand? On social media. Yes, deleting all kind of associated accounts that you have created if you have done that. You understand? Yes, man. Make the necessary changes. If you work with an affair partner, consider transfer. Trust me, because it is not easy for your spouse to be home knowing that you're in the same environment all the time. We just have to understand that infidelity is such a wrong thing on so many fronts. Just like so many fronts. And I wanted to say to you too that it's not just a physical thing, it's a spiritual thing, because marriage is spiritual, sex is spiritual, And so it's a biblical thing. And the Lord has a lot to say about it. When two people are joined together, you are joined together in oneness. It's supposed to be an unbroken relationship. And sex is a covenant. So when you enter into a sexual affair with somebody else, you're breaking a covenant and you're creating another covenant. So you just have to be careful about it. You understand? Infidelity is not a good thing either way. So we have to try to avoid it. We have to try to meet the needs as much as we possibly can and communicate about it. We're going to have to talk about that in another session, because adultery is more than a personal thing. It's a violation of God's covenant. The Bible makes it very, very clear that infidelity brings deep pain, broken trust, and far-reaching consequences, from personal ruin to even societal, because this society is a reflection or a prototype of what happens in the home. So we just have to be careful. The decay of the environment is important for us to consider, not to go out. So yeah, forgiveness is possible. It is always possible. But the cost is real. So what I'm saying, guard your heart, honor your vows, live holy, and stay with your one burner partner. It is best now and forevermore. Until next time, thank you for joining me in Love Online. Again, I just want to invite you, if for more information, more realities, looking at more issues and topics regarding marriage and family, or even your single journey, register for the gym, the Grow Your Marriage Ministry, the Grow Your Marriage Academy. We have courses, the how to speak so your husband will listen, that can help to alleviate a lot of confusion. That's a course for wives. Loving your wife in a Christ-centered way. That's a course for husbands, to help you to know how to love more, because you had to be commanded to love. It's not something that comes naturally for you. And then, of course, we have the marriage maintenance. That is so important. That's for both of you. We have sexual proficiency, because you can always up your game. Trust me, it is possible. And if you're a seasoned couple, the marriage certification course is just for you, where you can pour some of yourself into another couple and teach them how it is that you have fostered a relationship to this end and how they can too. And if you're single, don't be left out. The Marriage Readiness Intelligence, created just for you, helping you to know how to be 100% single, so you bring wholeness and assets into your marriage and not be a liability. Until next time, this is Dr. Dunbar and Love Online.